Good morning. I hereby call to order this 9th meeting of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission for the year 2022, and I ask that you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We welcome everyone here with us today and also welcome everyone that is watching us through our live stream. Today's meeting, as a reminder, which is open to the public, the Commission will act on various matters. As a reminder, though, there's no opportunity for the public to address the Commission at this public meeting. The public meeting motions, statements, and video will be available on the Commission's website later today. So our first matter for consideration under the agenda is the approval of the minutes for June 14th, and I will call upon Vice Chairman Coleman, who is the editor.
Well, thank you, Chairman. I have reviewed the minutes of the June 16, 2022 public meeting, and I move they be approved as submitted.
You have heard the motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Unora. Any discussion or further edits? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0. And now we will call upon our Secretary of the Commission, Rosemary Chiavetta, who will lead us through this morning's agenda.
Good morning, Madam Chairman and Commissioners. Your various bureaus and offices offer the following agenda for your consideration. Therefore, let us begin on page 1 with the recommendation of Director Bechtel and the Bureau of Consumer Services that the Commission approve the proposed order regarding revisions to the Universal Service and Energy Conservation Plan for the PUC Energy Company.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Unora. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Turning to page 2, and matters presented by Director Sophie and the Office of Special Assistants. It is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 2, beginning with the application of the Township of Taylor, Blair County, and including both items on page 3, ending the omnibus at the bottom of page 3 with the joint petition for settlement between the Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement and the People's Natural Gas Company.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Unora. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Turning to page 4, it is recommended that consistent with 4 PA Code, section 1.43C, the Commission's notational vote in the gas cost recovery filing of the National Fuel Gas Distribution Corporation be recorded and entered in the minutes of today's public meeting.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Unora. Any discussion? I will just state for the record, today's vote, as was mentioned, is to record a notational vote on this matter. And I just wish to note for the record that on the notational vote, I had dissented in this matter and also have provided a statement for the record. This vote right here is just to record that notational vote. So without any further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Continuing on page 4, and consistent with 4 PA Code, section 1.43C, the notational vote of the Commission regarding the petition for reconsideration filed by Upper Allen Township in the application of Veolia Water, Pennsylvania, be recorded and entered in the minutes of today's public meeting.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Yunora. Any discussion? Once again, just a reminder, this is recording our notational vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Turning to page 5, in matters presented by Director Diskin and the Bureau of Technical Utility Services, it is recommended in an omnibus motion that the Commission adopt both items on page 5, beginning with the proposed order regarding the joint petition for settlement between Norfolk Southern Railway Company and Guilford Township, Franklin County, and continuing the omnibus to include both items on page 6, all 3 items on page 7, and all 3 items on page 8, ending the omnibus with the quarterly earnings report of non-telephone jurisdictional utilities.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Yunora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Turning to page 8, it is recommended by Chief Counsel Hicks and the Law Bureau that the Commission adopt the proposed order regarding the petition filed by the PECO Energy Company requesting auto-enrollment for outage notifications.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Yunora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Turning to page 10, and matters presented by Chief Administrative Law Judge Rainey and the Office of Administrative Law Judge. It is recommended that the Commission adopt ALJ DeVoe's initial decision in the formal complaint of Erica and Brendan Kelly versus the Duquesne Light Company.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Yunora. Any discussion? Under discussion, I do have a motion to offer. I ask that Vice Chairman Coleman would preside so that I can offer my motion.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to recognize the chairman for the purpose of her motion.
Thank you. I ask that my motion be spread into the record in its entirety as if I read it in its entirety, and for all I know, I might be reading the whole thing. Before the Commission for consideration is a complaint filed on November 17, 2021 by Erica and Brendan Kelly alleging that Duquesne Light did not accurately calculate credit and reimburse them for their solar panel output. Mr. Kelly represented himself at the evidentiary hearing convened on February 17, 2020. At the hearing, Mr. Kelly began but did not finish his direct testimony. During his direct testimony and prior to any cross-examination by the company, Mr. Kelly requested a continuance to give him an opportunity to obtain a witness from his solar panel company to authenticate and lay an appropriate foundation for his proposed exhibits. Duquesne Light agreed to a 60-day continuance. On February 18, 2020, a further hearing notice was issued, scheduling the second day of hearing for April 19, 2022. On April 4, 2022, Mr. Kelly emailed the ALJ and Duquesne Light advising that he was unable to secure a representative from his solar panel company. Mr. Kelly advised that he had unsuccessfully made multiple attempts to coordinate communication between his solar panel company and Duquesne Light. He requested an additional continuance so that he could find a way to verify his solar array output. Duquesne did not consent to a second continuance. The ALJ notified both parties that the request for continuance was denied. On April 11, 2022, Mr. Kelly emailed the ALJ, copying Duquesne's attorney, advising he wanted to withdraw the complaint. The ALJ responded to his email, directing his attention to 52 PA Code Section 5.94, the rule governing withdrawals of pleadings. Mr. Kelly did not appear at the April 19th hearing, and the ALJ dismissed the complaint with prejudice due to Mr. Kelly not filing a formal petition for leave to withdraw. Mr. Kelly's April 11, 2020 correspondence clearly communicated his wish to withdraw the complaint. Mr. Kelly's April 4, 2020 email explained his unsuccessful attempts to secure a solar panel company representative to substantiate his complaint. Recognizing Mr. Kelly's pro se status, I believe that his emailed correspondence should have been deemed a petition to withdraw, consistent with Section 5.94 of the Commission's regulations. I find that there is no harm to the public interest in granting the petition to withdraw the complaint. Since the Commission must also consider any objections to the petition, it is appropriate to establish a 10-day objection period as set forth in Section 5.94. Therefore, I move that, 1, the complainant's April 11, 2022 communication shall be deemed a petition to withdraw consistent with 52 PA Code Section 5.94. 2, if no objection to the petition to withdraw is received within 10 days of the entry date of the opinion order in this matter, the petition to withdraw shall be deemed granted and this docket shall be marked closed. 3, the Office of Special Assistance shall prepare an opinion and order consistent with this motion. Thank you.
The motion has been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been moved and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carried. And if there's no objection, we will take the previous roll call vote to amend the motion, or amend the staff recommendation consistent with the motion. No objections. Chairman, I'll turn the gavel back to you.
Thank you very much. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 10, it is recommended that the Commission adopt ALJ Watson's recommended decision regarding the petitions filed by the First Energy companies operating in Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Yunora. Any discussion? I do have a statement to put on the record, and it's so short, I will read it in its entirety. Before the Commission is the joint petition of Metropolitan Edison Company, Pennsylvania Electric Company, Pennsylvania Power Company, and West Penn Power Company of the First Energy Companies for approval of their default service program. I would like to take the time to commend the First Energy Companies for inclusion of long-term contracts in this DSP. As I have stated numerous times before, the inclusion of such contracts is a requirement under Section 2807E of the Public Utility Code. Here, each of the companies propose to enter into power purchase agreements ranging between 4 and 10 years. The PPAs will procure energy and solar credits from in-state solar facilities with capacity ranging from 7 to 20 megawatts. Additionally, I am pleased to see that First Energy's DSP includes a time of use option for residential and commercial customers. Each company will offer a year-round TOU, or time of use rate, with peak hours from 2 p.m. until 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, and off-peak or super off-peak hours constituting the remainder of the week. This program represents another step towards the grid of the future, especially when coupled with the rollout of advanced metering infrastructure and the increased utilization of electric vehicles. Any further discussion or comments on this matter? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Turning to page 11, it is recommended that the Commission adopt ALJ Dunderdale's initial decision in the formal complaint of Byron Goldstein versus the PECO Energy Company's gas division.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Yunora. Any discussion? Just to keep it lively, I have another statement. It's just as short, so I'll read the whole thing. On January 28, 2020, Byron Goldstein filed a complaint alleging that PECO's natural gas supply charges increased up to 47%, and he contended the increase was untenable at a time of record high inflation. Mr. Goldstein requested the commission revisit the rate increase. PICO contested the allegations, and the matter was set for hearing. The administrative law judge attempted to convene the telephonic hearing as scheduled at 10 a.m. on May 24, 2022, but both the complainant and PICO failed to appear for the hearing. After attempting to ascertain why both parties were absent, the ALJ convened a telephonic hearing at 10:15 a.m. Counsel for PICO appeared along with 4 other individuals, noting that they had used the wrong telephone number to access the commission's conference bridge. PICO made an oral motion to dismiss the complaint with prejudice due to the complainant's failure to appear. By initial decision issued on June 16, 2020, the ALJ dismissed the complaint with prejudice. So I think you guys have heard me say this from time and time again since I've been on this bench since 2013. I have voiced my concerns that the practice of dismissing complaints filed by pro se individuals with prejudice when they miss a hearing is inconsistent, I believe, with due process. There's no need to close the door to this venue to pro se complainants unless our records show that they are abusing the commission's administrative process to avoid paying their utility bills. This complaint should have been dismissed, but without prejudice. Any other further discussion on this matter? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Madam Chairman, that concludes the regular agenda. Turning now to the carry-in agenda. On page 1 of the carry-in, it is recommended by the Office of Special Assistance that consistent with 4 PA Code, Section 1.43C, the notational vote of the Commission regarding the application of Aqua Pennsylvania wastewater to acquire the assets of East Whiteland Township be recorded and entered in the minutes of today's public meeting.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Yunora. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Turning to page 2 of the carry-in, it is recommended by the Bureau of Technical Utility Services that the Commission adopt the proposed order regarding the security certificate between the Wellsboro Electric Company and C&T Enterprises.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Yunora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Turning to page 3 of the carry-in, it is recommended by the Law Bureau that the Commission adopt the proposed order regarding the application of the Pennsylvania American Water Company wastewater and its petition for expedited reconsideration.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Coleman, second by Commissioner Yunora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
And finally, turning to page 4 of the carry-in, there is the motion of Vice Chairman Coleman.
Vice Chairman Coleman, you are recognized to submit your motion.
Well, thank you, Chairman. I have a C motion this morning that is involving the return of our Bureau directors and managers within this commission. And before I get into the motion itself, I just think that there are a couple of things that are worth noting this morning. And perhaps the first of which is to maybe explain a little bit of the motivation behind my motion and why I feel compelled to offer a C motion today to return our Bureau directors and managers. You know, it was a little more than 2 years ago that we were all moved out of the Keystone building and the other offices of the Commission under an emergency order as we were all faced with a pandemic. And it really challenged this organization to figure out how we're going to do our business remotely. And we quickly found ourselves amidst a telework situation for the entire commission. And that was something that we had not anticipated as an organization, but due to the circumstances, we found ourselves faced with a full telework of this commission. We're now 2 years later, and we've had an opportunity to see how telework works for this organization. And it's interesting that, surprisingly, there are some areas in this organization where it works remarkably well. And we've learned some very valuable lessons. And I just want to share with you just a couple of those examples. My hat's off to our Director of Administrative Services, Bob Gramola, and his team that deployed very expeditiously laptop computers for all of us to be able to work remotely and to make sure that we're all connected and be able to communicate and interface with each other and use all of the video conferencing capabilities to be able to continue the mission of this organization. We had a Secretary's Bureau under the leadership of Rosemary Chiavetta that moved this commission, the outward-facing portion of this commission where we receive all of the dockets for public meeting, and moving to an e-filing system and allowing us to continue to do our business, and did so remarkably well, and in fact, without missing a beat. We had our Chief Administrative Law Judge, Chief Rainey, who moved our administrative law judges to telephonic hearings and did so remarkably well with great result. So there are many of places across the organization where telework has worked remarkably well. And I would offer that I am a proponent of continuing telework. I know there are some who have taken this C motion and tried to make it something that it's not. And for those who have done that, shame on them. That's not the message that I am trying to convey to the PUC family. Telework works in this organization. My message this morning is it's not working across the entire organization as well as perhaps I had anticipated. And there are some areas where we're challenged. And in those areas, I believe that we, as commissioners, have an obligation. We have an obligation to respond to those areas of performance concerns. And that's what this C motion is about today. It's not about ending telework. In fact, to the contrary, it's to challenge our bureau directors and our managers in a positive way to look at the areas where perhaps we can do better as an organization. And I believe we have an obligation to do better as an organization to those that we serve. Whether it's a consumer looking to access this organization, whether it's a legislator with a legislative inquiry on a matter that's before this commission, whether it is the governor who nominated us to serve this commission and to carry out our duty, whether it's the regulatory community that we regulate, to be able to interact with this commission as we have pre-COVID. That's what this motion is about today. I believe that we can all do better in this organization, and I believe all that we serve deserve that. What the C motion does, and I just wanted to give a little bit more detail on this, just so we all understand how this is working. This, again, is calling for our bureau directors and managers to come back into the building. And what my C motion is proposing is that they develop a plan as to how we address those performance concerns in this organization. And yes, that includes looking at their entire team, even those who are covered under a collective bargaining agreement. If those bureau directors feel that it's working fine, then it's working fine, and that's what we accept. If those bureau directors feel that there is a need to make some adjustments in the way that we are carrying out the mission of the organization and to be able to hit those performance standards that we need to aspire to, then that's what we will do. What the C motion doesn't do, again, and I just want to keep emphasizing, is does not mean the elimination of telework in this organization. The second piece I just wanted to mention this morning is that we are a public-facing organization. And I believe as a public-facing organization, we have an expectation to have our doors open for all that I had mentioned earlier, to be able to come to this organization and to be able to interact with us face-to-face if they choose to do so. And I think that's a very reasonable expectation. The operative word in the title of this organization is the Public Utility Commission. And we need to be available and receptive to those who wish to come and visit with us and do their business with this commission face-to-face. It's post-pandemic time, or I would like to believe that we are now in a post-pandemic time. It's time for us to return to a state of pre-pandemic operation. And again, that's what this motion is intended to do today. So let me move into the content of the motion itself, and I would ask that the motion be entered into the record as though I have read it in its entirety. On March 6, 2020, Governor Wolf issued the proclamation of disaster emergency for the Commonwealth due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The proclamation resulted in a number of changes to how Commonwealth agencies and their employees carried out their responsibilities. Most notably, employees of the Commonwealth were directed to telework if at all possible, and many facilities such as the Keystone Building were closed to the public. To facilitate continuing operations, the Commission issued an emergency order that authorized the suspension of deadlines and modified rules regarding services of documents. Public meetings of the Commission were converted to telephonic format. As the various COVID-19 mitigation measures have expired, the Commission and other agencies in the Commonwealth have gradually returned to pre-COVID operations. The Commission's offices at the Keystone Building were reopened to the public on August 2nd, 2021. The Commission's suspension of deadlines expired on September 30th, 2021, and the Commission then resumed in-person public meetings here in this building, in this location, on April 14th, 2022. With today's motion, I am pleased to announce the next phase of the Commission's return to pre-COVID operations consistent with the Office of Administration Management Directive 505.36, adopted by the Commission on May 19, 2021. Beginning August 8, 2022, the Executive Director and all management personnel reporting directly to the Executive Director will resume full-time work week attendance at the Keystone Building and other assigned pre-COVID-19 office locations. Management employees with supervisory responsibilities to report to the Bureau of Directors will resume full-time work week attendance at the Keystone Building or other assigned pre-COVID office locations no later than September 6, 2022. The management team of each bureau will submit an updated telework plan to the Executive Director by September 6th of 2022 regarding the return of other Commission employees in compliance with civil service or other collective bargaining unit agreements for Commission review and approval. I would like to again thank all of the employees of the Commission for their dedication during this period. Commission staff performed their duties at a high level under challenging circumstances, for sure. The Commission worked diligently to ensure the provision of safe and reliable service at just and reasonable rates, and everyone should look back at this period with gratitude for the hard work and professionalism of the Commission employees that made this all possible. So therefore, this morning, I move that the Executive Director implement this motion regarding the operations of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission. Thank you.
You have heard the motion of Vice Chairman Coleman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Yonora. Any discussion on the motion? I do have comments to be placed on the record. I will note, first of all, that I will be providing written comments to be placed on the records. I do also have comments that I just want to give from the bench. First of all, I do want to just note for everyone that this is a very unusual situation for us at the Commission, at least during my tenure, where we normally do not have conversations in terms of personnel at public meeting. We have a provision under the Sunshine Law that provides for certain exceptions for the commissioners of any boards and agencies to discuss items such as personnel issues within the executive session, which we call our R&R. If you look inside the cover of your agenda, you see each and every time noting when the commission has had a executive session, which is usually the day before a public meeting. So I find myself in a difficult situation because I've never had to discuss personnel issues in the public, and that's fine. We are very passionate in terms of commissioners, in terms of what we think is best. I've said that time and time again. Nothing's right, nothing's wrong. It's what we think is best. So that's the challenge in terms of trying to bring it all together. I find this C-motion challenging because of the fact that we are also in a time period where we as commissioners, that is our opportunity to talk to one another, to get a better understanding of what exactly is going on. It's no secret that we are sitting here as 3 commissioners when we are supposed to have a statutory complement of 5. So when there's 3 commissioners, 2 commissioners is the majority, so we can't even talk to each other on matters of the operations of the commissions, of the commission, or even dockets that we're voting on. So some of the comments that I've heard Vice Chairman Coleman say in his motion, I appreciate the clarification because I didn't have the opportunity to have an understanding of that nature. But I do have to say, when you look at the written language of the motion that he's offering today, there are some inconsistencies or discrepancies or reason for pause because it gives a different interpretation. And I'm respectful of what his interpretation is. It's just that as an attorney, you go with the 4 corners of the document and you look at the plain language of the document to try to get a better understanding of what it is. So let me first start out with the fact that this document does refer to the COVID-19 pandemic. I agree with him in terms of how well our agency and our staff has done through the time of this pandemic. When we first started out, I thought we were coming home for 2 or 3 weeks. I was fine with that, and it turned into over 2 years. But we did a yeoman's job, and I agree with him in terms of some of the agencies and bureau directors that he specifically pointed out, but I will say everyone did a great job. It was a scary time. We did not have the equipment necessary to make sure that everyone could work and no one lost their jobs, but also people that had to come in. We had to make sure that there were the safety measures in place so they didn't get the virus and all that. We did a great job. Vice Chairman Coleman likes to say many times the commission was open for business. We were open for business. As the Commonwealth progressed into the pandemic, you know, as a fact, there was a constitutional ballot on the question and on the ballot in May of 2021, and our Commonwealth decided to limit the emergency powers of the governor, and then the General Assembly voted that the emergency declaration was over, and that's fine, and we moved forward. But the telework is not about pre-pandemic. When I say we move forward, the Commonwealth moved forward to say, these are the things that we learned during the pandemic in terms of telework. What many of you in this room may or may not know is that this commission, back in 2019, had already voted to look into telework for our people. We voted to look into it for the management people, same management people that this commission is looking to specifically, this C motion is looking to specifically address. One of the things back in 2019 is that we couldn't offer it to the unions because it wasn't part of a collective bargaining. It wasn't part of it. We couldn't offer it. But we were looking at that as we looked at our utilities career campaign, and we were looking at the fact that we had a lot of people within this commission that were reaching the retirement age, a lot of people that were looking to retire and take all that institutional knowledge out the door with them. We were working with our utilities and saying, let's get together and look at all these different things that we can look at. And one of the things in my discussion with OA was, hey, there's an option for telework because it's something that is something you can offer someone saying, we can't give you the money that you're going to make in the outside industry, but we have different things that we know that Gen Z is looking for. The newer employees coming on board, they're looking at different things and looking at things that will impact their daily life. So those are the type of things that we put into place, and by December of 2019, we were entering into our pilot program that started out with the commissioner's staff first, and then we moved into the Office of Special Assistants. Well, by March of 2020, I always joke about the fact everybody was in the pilot program. We learned a lot. As Vice Chairman Coleman stated, we learned a lot in terms of what can be done and how well it can be done. And we invested a lot. When I say we invested a lot, we bought laptops for everyone. We reached out to the Commonwealth to see if they had extra monitors because people were working from home and there's so many different documents. We were trying to invest in our employees to make sure that they could continue to do the work and do it well. We upgraded our phone system because we know everyone doesn't have a work phone, right? But we were making people use their phone. We didn't want them to have to pay for that. So we upgraded our system. We invested a lot of money in our infrastructure to move forward. When the Commonwealth gave the opportunity for the agencies directly under the governor's jurisdiction to move forward, not backwards, not pre-COVID, move forward after we got out of the pandemic to say, this is an opportunity and an option for our employees. It helps with efficiency. It helps with staff morale. We can offer something to these employees currently and those that are coming online. We, as a commission, voted to adopt that directive that came out from the Commonwealth in April of 2021. We, as a commission, adopted it in May of 2021. We adopted to say that we're going to move forward and we're going to offer this to our employees here at the commission. Great thing, great opportunity. But we don't want to mix the apples and oranges to say that this telework option was a result of the pandemic. The pandemic taught us a lot. I've said often during that pandemic, there's always a silver lining somewhere. It teaches us something, and it taught us a lot. It taught us that we can telework, we can work from home. So if there's problems, we need to address those problems because in the course of rolling out this new telework option, this post-COVID-19 option, we put a lot of manpower and work hours into getting people prepared. If you look at this directive that was rolled out by OA in April of 2021 and adopted by us in May of 21, it specifically refers to the fact that if an agency has a telework program that predates this directive, they must develop and implement a new agency telework plan in accordance with this directive. We did just that. We took our plan, and our plan was those contracts, those agreements that our staff had to sign for just that pilot program, they were lengthy. The same thing for this new directive that we adopted as a commission in May of 2021. We're talking about 11 pages of an agreement that rolled out the responsibilities and the requirements of every employee that was eligible, because not everyone's eligible to telework, we know that. We rolled that out, required that they have training in accordance with this directive under the OA, as well as their managers, and then they could sign this contract. We did it in stages throughout the commission, so there was a time period over since 2021 that we were rolling this all out, and we got to the point where right at the end, we didn't get to the commissioner's staff. They didn't get to sign it yet. But we now have this C motion that I hear what my colleague says that he's saying, but it's possible to do just that when you're talking about reviewing any concerns that you have already under this telework agreement that we have put in place, agreed to, and have had over 300 some people that were eligible to telework sign. And that includes the bureau directors and those supervisory management employees under their direction. I'm confused. I'm confused, and I didn't have the opportunity to discuss this in more detail in R&R. So once again, I find myself in this difficult situation. If we're really trying to address something, then let's roll up our sleeves and talk in the only way and only avenue that we have as the three of us, because 2 makes a majority. The only avenue we have to talk and discuss things is in our executive session. So we talk about this, but I say if we really want to address some problems, we need to postpone the consideration of this and talk about it in R&R. Our next R&R is right before our second meeting, our last meeting in this month, and we have the opportunity to do that. So I move that we postpone this motion. Do I have a second?
Madam Chairman, just for a point of clarification here, there is already a motion on the table.
But a postponement motion takes precedent over the main motion. It does, just like a motion to table. Well, you know what? I will withdraw my motion because we can go through the whole thing. Those are my comments. I respectfully say that we can address this in our executive session. If my colleagues choose not to do so, we can just move forward. So those are my comments for the record. I will have written comments to submit as well. Any further discussion on this motion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? I am voting no. The motion passes 2-1, noting my dissent.
Madam Chairman and Commissioners, that concludes all agenda items to be considered today.
Nothing else before us, and if there's no objection, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.